Assalamu alaikum, and a very good afternoon to our distinguished speakers and to everyone joining us today. I'm Zofeen Ebrahim, a Karachi based journalist, and it's a privilege to host this important session. This webinar is part of the Plastics in Transition series taking place across South Asia, a regional effort to spotlight innovation, collaboration, and action in tackling plastic pollution. It also comes at a very important juncture. The plastic treaty negotiations are taking place in Geneva as we speak. If media reports are any indication, the 184 nations gathered there in the Swiss capital remain deadlocked with growing disagreements and deepening divisions. Oil producing countries, backed by a record number of industry lobbyists, are resisting production cuts and pushing for recycling. Today's session focuses on stories from Pakistan showcasing impact through innovation and the change makers who are reimagining the way we practice, use, and reuse plastic. In the past 75 years since plastic entered mass production, a whopping 9 billion tons have been created. And for over 100 years, 118 to be exact, since the first plastic was produced, every single plastic still exists. Today, plastic is found in our oceans, in our soil, and the air we breathe, even in our blood, our brain, and in the mother's womb. We produce 460 million tons of plastic every year, which will increase to 1.2 billion tons per year by 2060. Faced with this crisis, South Asia is stepping up. The Plastic Free Rivers and Seas for South Asia, or the PLEASE project, is a $37 million regional initiative uniting 8 countries to tackle plastic pollution at its source. This initiative is implemented by SAQIP, or the South Asia Co-operative Environment Program, which is an intergovernmental organization set up by South Asia countries in 1982. The World Bank and UNOPS support PLEASE project in rethinking plastic management through innovation, partnership, and circular solutions. Today, we tackle a shared challenge, plastics pollution in South Asia's rivers, with purpose and thanks to the changemakers driving real progress. Before I introduce these leaders, a quick note on today's format. I'll start with a quick question answers for each panelist on plastic pollution and their role in Pakistan's circular economy. Let's keep it interactive and conversational. I will then open the floor for questions, so feel free to drop them in the Q&A box anytime. I'm sure our panelists would love to hear from you. And now, without further ado, let me introduce my panelist. We have with us Dr. Zillay Mariam. After nearly 2 decades in the world of waste management, Dr. Zillay Mariam, CEO of ISP Environmental Solutions, based in Lahore, has come to a simple yet powerful conclusion. Nothing is truly waste. Where most of us see trash, she sees raw potential. In ISP's latest venture, they are turning low-grade, discarded plastic into something with real value, eco-bricks. Through a meticulous process of sorting, shredding, and blending plastic with cement, sand, and fly ash, they're creating durable construction materials like tiles, bricks, and curbstones. It's not just recycling, it's reimagining waste as a building block for a better future. Next, we have Syed Ziauddin, project manager at AltasPak Waste Management Company. Among their headline-grabbing creations are manhole covers made from single-use plastic. Yes, the same plastic we usually throw away is now being reimagined into durable urban infrastructure. AltasPak sees this as more than just a clever reuse. It's a step towards tackling plastic pollution and building a more circular, sustainable future. My third guest today is Mohammed Omer Ghaznavi, who turned a commitment to environmental solutions into real world impact as the co founder of Davaam Life. His company is redefining how we shop for everyday essentials, not by selling more, but by wasting less. Through smart refill stations, Davaam Life enables customers to access products they use daily, minus the plastic packaging, and with the bonus of discounted prices. It's tech driven, user friendly, and designed to ease the plastic burden on our planet, one refill at a time. So thank you everyone for being with us today. I'd love to kick off things by asking my first question to you, Zillay. Many people, including myself, often hear terms circular economy and recycling used interchangeably. Could you briefly explain the difference between the two, especially in the context of your work?
Thank you so much, Zofeen, and I'm just grateful to Saqib as well for letting us the opportunity to share this stage with these marvelous people, those who are doing a great job. So, being in the field for the past 2 decades, we just realized that uh, it's not about waste management, or it's not about only a recycling thing. So, recycling and circular economy, they are the two different terms. So recycling can be done for the waste we pick up, right? So we have multiple waste streams which we do pick up, which we do collect. Majority of the time it's post-consumer waste, number one. Number two, it's industrial processed waste. So it can either be composted, that is organic recycling or processing, and then it can we recycle the plastics as well, right? Converting it into directly the plastic pellets and just moving on with the recycling purpose, and that's it. So circularity, it just shifted the entire thing. So circularity, it's a broader concept that aims to reduce waste and which promotes sustainability by designing products and the systems that are restorative, that are regenerative by design. And it involves the entire design shift. It involves the collaboration, how we collaborate with other organizations. Plus, it's the closed loop production of our things, right? So once we started up with the recycling thing, we just channelized ourselves for this circular economy as well. So now what we are making is the plastic we are collecting, as we are a waste management company, and I think the linear economy could not share the result which we ever wished to. So this circular economy thing just help us to realize that when there is a change in the design and the production of our product, it makes things grow. So we collect plastic, we sort it, and then we convert it into eco bricks, which is a product which helps to reduce the landfill burden of plastic as well. So and then we do take other measures as well, that while we are changing the life cycle of this plastic, which was once sent to the landfill site, now we can use these eco bricks for our transfer stations. Number one, which had a very raw area where plastic waste is dumped just for interim period of time, and then it's lifted again. So in Lahore, only 500 metric tons of plastic waste is daily sent to our landfill sites, right? So we have almost 9 transfer stations. So what we realized, that if these bricks, this plastic is converted into another product and it's used and then become part of this circularity, it will reduce the burden, number one, and number two, it will grow economically as well. So the recycling is for waste only, but circular economy is for everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Picking up from that point of Zillay's, I'd love to hear what you think, Ziauddin Saab. Your company, AltasPak, is producing manhole covers from single-use plastic, a solution that helps divert waste from landfills and the environment, which is quite encouraging. But you've also received quite a bit of media attention recently. At the same time, we know that similar products have been developed in the past. So, what makes your approach or product stand out?
Thank you very much from AltasPak. Actually, we are into waste collection from district of Hyderabad, and what differentiate us from the people in the other province or in our province producing these kind of thing is that those are mainly doing it on commercial basis. They are buying their raw material from the market and they are producing it. What we would be doing it, we would be diverting waste from the landfill, which is directly approaching to the landfill and which is actually not being picked up by the excavengers themselves. One thing which we think we are adding synergies to it, and the other thing we also think that we are making the informal sector coming with us and bringing them to the formal sector and giving them all the necessities which they require. These are the two major things we understand we are doing, which differentiate us from other stakeholders or other people producing same kind of products. One bringing informal sector into formal sector, and the others are doing it on the commercial basis. Whereas initially we would be doing it diverting the waste from the landfill.
All right. Thank you. We will get into this a bit more in more detail later. So let me bring in our third panelist, Omer Ghaznavi from Davaam Life. I was just thinking, if Davaam Life has its way, it may just bring the other two panelists out of business, because its mission is to reduce the use of plastic altogether by rethinking the system entirely. A key part of that mission lies in your refill vending machines. Now, you aim to tackle the problem at its root. So, in a way, you are looking at prevention rather than cure. What have been the biggest challenges or breakthroughs in encouraging consumer behavior change? And also, I want to know, how scalable do you see this model becoming? Has anyone really replicated this practice?
Right. Thank you very much, Zofeen, for having us, and SACEP for organizing this event and sponsoring the entire project itself, along with UNOPS and the World Bank. And just to get started, as an introduction, you already introduced our company and what we do very eloquently, so I won't repeat all of that again. But our smart, refill stations or our vending solutions that reduce packaging are not aimed at Dr. Zillay or Zia Saab or their businesses, because they handle waste at a completely different quantum. They're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of tons of waste being collected. They have a mountain of problems to deal with. What we are trying to do is to reduce a portion that creates a lot of pollution in the system that has led to a lot of issues and leads to a lot of lack of efficiency in the system. When you talk about just removing packaging, you're not just removing packaging, you're also removing the need for the associated warehousing, the logistics, the increased care of the products, the things getting spoiled during transportation. So a lot of that goes out of the window. It's a wholesale change for the market. That's why we gave it the name of sustainable retail. It's a new concept. And whenever you have a new concept in play, it's always going to be difficult to take the incumbents in the market and explain things to them so that they adopt it very quickly. So our focus from day one was to get the large companies to come in with us, to sell our vision to them and hope that they participate with us. We've had struggles over there, which we can discuss later on, with the details regarding that. But where we did get a lot of support was from local entities, smaller companies that were a bit more robust in their decision-making process and were able to move a lot quicker than the larger, more established consumer good companies working in Pakistan or internationally. We managed to capitalize on that after a little while of learning. Everything that we're doing is very new, so obviously there's a very steep learning curve, but we're getting there. Scaling it is obviously an issue, but that's where SACEP and I can't thank the World Bank and SACEP enough for what they did for us, because this innovation grant does not only give us validity with regards to the technology that we produce in-house, but it also ensures that we are able to showcase that the market that we believe in our minds and on paper exists, and the opportunity that exists within that market can actually be proven. This project allowed us to do that, and it was the first step towards scaling it up. Our next target now is to actually go from 130 odd machines, which is what we did with SACEP and the World Bank and UNOPS, to a number in excess of 1,000. So we've already jumped the gun. We're already pushing the envelope to try and get to 1,000. It takes time with new concepts, but we should be able to get there. And I'm hoping for continued support from organizations like SACEP.
Thank you. Thank you, Omer. Let's move on to the next round. And anybody can answer this question. Each of you is tackling plastic circularity from a different angle, from reduction and reuse to the recycling and repurposing. What's the biggest barrier you've encountered in scaling your solution, and how have you worked to overcome it? Ziauddin Saab, would you like to go first?
Sure. Actually, basically, your question relates to the stakeholders involved with us, where we had some problems. So basically, our main stakeholders, the end product is going to the government. The barrier from the government side is the people who are procuring the thing which we are producing. So we had to convince them basically to they have to shift from the concrete or RCC manhole covers to this covers. Now they have also introduced some wood manhole covers as compared to the RCC manhole covers, which they think was durable, but it is simply not, because it cannot bear some weight or the axle load of the trucks. One of the problem we faced with the government sector, then there is the change in the mindset which has to come from the community also, in order to reduce what they are using the plastic, and in case they are using it, they have to segregate it. So we have introduced 3-bin policy in our area also, where they have to differentiate and put in 3 different bins, some recyclables, some organic, and some plastic. So second barrier which we faced was from the community itself, and the third barrier we faced from the informal sector. Those are the excavengers which we have to bring them into the formal sectors. We assume that we have overcome all these 3 barriers comfortably over a period of more than 1 year, by through demonstrating them that the commitment is there, and we have to lead it. And from the community side also, from the stakeholder, government stakeholder also, and from the informal sector itself. And now they are part of the whole scheme, and this is the reason we are able to gather plastic. We are able to segregate it or make it through informal sector, bring them to the formal sector, and our end product is also being accepted by the government. So these were the three main barriers we assume, which helped us in transforming also, and we took it as a challenge. And as of today, we are going good.
I'm sure it must not have been easy because behavioral change doesn't come easy to anybody. Zillay, would you like to share your challenges in your work?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Zofeen. So the major challenge is being a female leading a waste management company. And there are multiple areas which were directly because this is a male-oriented, we were sorry about it, but it's a male-dominant society, and we can't see females working in this sector at this role or with this vision. I think the mindset of our people, it was one of the major hurdle. And then taking things that this will be converted into a product which can be used as pavers, or which can be used as roadside curb blocks, or it could be used as barriers. So this was the first thing which people would love to see and know how it will work. What is its strength? And while our team was totally doing it, it's the research and development on this sector, we have to conduct various seasons of our R&D in the society as well. That we took a question and answer session with the teams, with the students, and with the architects as well. So whenever there's a change, people do not adopt it, right? So it takes some time. But once they know what is coming up and they have a trust built up, then it becomes very easy to get the market. Fortunately, during all this time, tables turned around. So what happened, we have our one of our innovation is reverse vending machine. One of the example in Pakistan, which was quoted earlier, that there was a vending machine for plastics that was installed in Islamabad, but it really they had a very bad experience just because that people, they don't have that awareness, and they just couldn't take that change so obviously, right? But fortunately, this time we just took a risk that we will go with a locally developed solution. We are not going to buy it from China or any other country. We are going to develop it locally, see what the results are, and then we are going to scale it. Fortunately, the results are amazing. So we introduced the first one on June 5th. And then Punjab Green Credit Programs, they just picked us up and they said that, yes, this is the solution we are looking forward, just to raise awareness so people could know how much plastic they're producing and what could be done to the plastic which you're collecting. And then we just joined hands with our collaboration with the Green Credit Program of our CM, which is a wonderful initiative by Ms. Mariam. So we are now giving some off points or some credits on this reverse vending machine, which youth will be using it. So I'm just telling it youth because first one is we are launching it on 14th of August at University of Central Punjab, Lahore. So they have a footfall of 20,000 students. And what we are expecting is that we are already collecting their waste, but this will absolutely create a benchmark in collecting real-time data, that how much students get well aware that once the machine is there and they're using it, that they're getting the green credit points, and that the change it will be seen through everybody, that it will become our eyes as well. So the rest of the three, we are also introducing them in other universities of Lahore as well. But the best part is that we have huge number of queries with us. those who have just asked us that this should be there at the public place as well. I think this was the series of change which we introduced through this Please project. And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So one is this side where the behavior change is coming up. And the other side is that people are approaching us as soon our EcoBrick plant was inaugurated. People have started getting their product booked. So we are booking their products for that EcoBrick for their footpaths, for their these roads in front of their homes as well. So they're just telling us that we just want to, make sure that we are becoming more sustainable and more responsible citizens of Pakistan. So that is the best
Thank you,
part.
Zillay.
It was difficult earlier, but now it's working.
No. It seems that your business is going quite well.
It has just started.
It is.
So
Yeah,
it took a long time to start, but now I think it has started. Thanks to Saqib and the World Bank Group and the UN office, those selected us. Yeah.
Great to hear that. Omer, what about you? How has it been for you? The challenges, any barriers that you encountered?
As probably the smallest company on the forum, or representing the smallest company on the forum, we actually experienced a whole different set of challenges. Typically there's a different kind of investor for large infrastructure projects, and there's a different kind for startups, which you typically hear about, the ones that are raising $500,000, $1 million, or $10-20 million at times. Unfortunately, when you're looking at a bricks and mortar business which incorporates technology to bring about efficiency, which hasn't been done anywhere else at scale in the world. Literally, there's only a handful of companies that are working on this solution, and we seem to be far ahead of most of them. So that's not something which is very easy for a startup to sell. I think the problem of finance is something that is across the board in other industries in Pakistan. So, I'm not going to crib too much about that. But finding investors is a real hassle. People who understand the vision, who understand the fact that, just like Dr. Zillay just mentioned, these solutions are not something that will start giving returns on day one. These are projects that require investment of money and effort for a very long period before you get it right. Not only in terms of the technology, but also in your service offering that you bring to the market. And we've been wrong many times, and we've had to course correct ourselves. So that's been good, but because we were two partners, we were able to, kind of critique each other, see issues before they came up. And we've been very lucky that we got a fantastic team that's friendly, that approaches us and explains to us when we are making mistakes as well. So that helped us. But in terms of support, there really isn't much support outside of development organizations. You don't have the banks running after you for sure, because we can't provide big guarantees, etc. Some development funding is available, but that's extremely competitive. And if you won one set of prizes, you can't just keep applying for every loan facility out there. So that also becomes a little messed up if you start using that advantage. But yes, so as a small company, there are a lot more issues that you face. You don't have support in terms of, let's say, if we're exporting our machines, which we're looking to do now, there's very little from the government in terms of even providing information with regards to what we need to do. If you were a traditional export...
Omer, I have to interrupt you. I'm going to come to the second question on government.
Okay,
and maybe you can continue. Let me just ask, it's all of this is, I would say, perseverance and persistence on the part of all three of you that I can see from, our webinar, that I can see these two terms come to my mind. But anyway, my second question to you is, Omer, and you can start, that what kind of support or intervention from government that would make the biggest difference in helping your solution scale or succeed?
Well, with the government, it's fairly simple. We don't look towards the government for funding. In our business, we're mostly approaching the corporate sector, private enterprise, and individuals. Government is also a potential client for us, but the support that we would hope
Yes.
to get, or for other startups in the future, is clarity with regards to the rules, regulations, and the policies that are out there which relate to our particular sector. Things are constantly in flux. Zia Saab will testify to this. They have to deal with changing policies on a literally weekly basis, and it makes business extremely difficult for anyone. For us with a very small entity, it becomes even harder that one day we have one policy, there's some sort of political change, and then suddenly the policies change across the board. We need some level of consistency in terms of the policy, as well as help for small companies that don't have the bandwidth or the past experience in helping to deal with different government agencies and the requirements of those individual agencies. Because there's a lot of red tape. I understand that we can't cut off all red tape immediately. It takes a very long time to correct that issue. But at least people who can help you navigate through that process, I believe that would really help startups not only expand horizons in the local domestic market, but also look at regional international markets. It took us 3 years. I would hope that other companies would be able to manage that in a year after having developed a viable product.
Thank you. Thank you. Zia Saab, would you like to take on this question? I mean, Omer said that you also went through a lot of problems. So what do you want from the government? How can it help you?
Thank you. Yes, Omar rightly said about the changes in the policy. The government initially the government has to take it phase wise. Actually, the problems with the government in our part of the world is that they decide something very abruptly and they want to implement it. But what we understand and we suggest, keeping in view we are in this market, firstly, government has to phase it out from the producer of the polythene bags. Number one, they have to phase it out. They have to give them time to shift from producing these kind of polythene bags to a different, which are biodegradable. Number one, this is our first suggestion would be. Then on the second part, they shall also limit on the from the shopkeepers and places from where these polythene bags. I am focusing on the polythene bags because these are the most inferior kind of plastic which is not recycled. Otherwise, HDPE and other are recycled and has value also. So the cost of recycling it is more as compared to HDPE and it has a low market value. So, firstly, the government need to understand that all the producers need to phase by shift on a particular kind of product, which can be biodegradable also, and those can be paper also. Government have to give them a time frame, some lead time, or some space. So that they can make the shift. Then the government has to legalize or somehow government have to make it properly that those shopping bags or the bags which are creating a mess shall not be distributed from the they can put a quota on it that for each shop or each marketplace shall use only a particular kind of particular amount of or quantity of plastic bags or shopping bags. Then it again comes to the user, the customer from that marketplace or a particular area. So, keeping in focus the elimination of plastic bags or reducing it. So, we suggest there can be three-phased policy. And if government, we would be more than happy, because our main work is waste collection. We would be more than happy to help governments doing it, because we are penetrated in the system, and by now we are very much aware about the traits of how the manufacturer is thinking, how the shopkeepers or the marketplace people are thinking, and how the consumer is thinking. So we have made a shift in a particular area, which is the shift in their mindset, and we are hopeful that we can do it, help the government in doing it. And we think there should be a three-phased policy from the government side, and it should not be abrupt. It should be a phased wise. You should give them space. You should understand from them what issues are there.
Thank you, Ziasa. But with your kind of recommendations, you might be going out of business soon in a phased manner. But I think that your heart is in the right direction. I have to say that. Zillay, what about you? You already succeeded. The CM of Punjab is buying your ideas. But what about the problems that you faced initially, or if you're still facing some of the problems that the government can resolve for you? What would you want from the government?
Okay, so Zofeen, I would like to add something to Ziasa's discussion firstly, and then I'm going to share that, right? So we have studied number of countries, those who have shifted from a single-use plastic to the other side of the table. And what they have done is they have increased the micron size, which our government is also doing it. And it's only because that as you reduce the number of microns, the value of that plastic reduces down. And then the collection is the major issue, number one. Number two, there should be a product shift. Like currently we are using MLP, which is multi-layer plastic, to pack our products. So if that is changed into another material to pack their product, so which can be picked up, processed, and has a value, it will become a design shift, and then people will surely collect it, right? So number three, whenever we say that we face problems, we do face, because every business has their own issues, right? We do face multiple time people telling us that, okay, so RVM is there, but we are banning the plastic. How this will survive? We should realize that plastic will be there as petroleum is there, right? So you cannot completely eradicate plastic from your lives. But we can definitely give it a second life. We can definitely turn it into a product which is more sustainable, which is more beneficial. That can be done. So, and this is a mind shift. And this takes years and years of the generation to think that what they're doing wrong, it should be done rightly. Like if we give example of US, just on a broader note, not that we are a South Asian country and we cannot give examples of those countries, those are already developed, those who have far more better systems, they still have these problems existing there, right? But how they are resolving them should be adopted by us as well. So what they do is they have started putting, people realize that if the recyclable is more, they are going to get benefit for that. So the recycling drum is filled more, they are going to get the benefit. But if the mixed waste drum is there more, then they have to pay for that. So I think they started years back, and now they are reaping the results. Now they are seeing that result, that people are now, it's in their system, that people realize that, right, so there are two drums, wet and dry, and we have to put our things maximum in the dry one, just to make sure that we are contributing our responsibility towards the country, and we are making it more sustainable, the waste part, right? Problems do exist, that as we do have this scavenging all around, And what happens is majority of the time when we are collecting waste, so we have our own quantities identified. Let's suppose we have identified that from a university of 20,000 students, we are going to get at least 10,000 bottles a day, right? This is what we expect, or 5,000 bottles a day, which is a very good number. But unfortunately, we don't get it. So the reason is that the janitorial staff, they just collect it and they just pass it to the informal sector. And what happens is that informal sector, they sell it out to those people, those who, it's not their fault, but they realize that this stream goes to that recycling system where illegal or low-grade products are there, right? So when low-grade products are built up, what happens? It again comes into the market, and we do buy it. We as customer do buy those products, right? So the entire
Zillay,
system.
let me just interrupt you, Zillay. So what kind of intervention you want from the government here? What do you think the government can do?
I think the policies, implementation of the policy. So we have plastic management policy already there. It has amendment 2024 already there. But there should be responsibility of everybody to look into it. The producer, the consumer, the waste management company, and the recyclers. So everybody has to work together to make this problem eradicate, right? And the government is already working on it. It's not, but the change is not overnight. We cannot do that. But yes, we should start stepping towards it. And I think government is doing it. It's not that they're not doing it. It's already there. So national plastic policy, implementation of national plastic policy is there on its way. So provincial implementation of provincial plastic management policy is already there. This is how it could be done and what roles should be played. And so the producers, those who are actually producing this plastic, and then the consumers, those who are consuming it, and those who are taking it as to wrap up their products, they should realize that only 1% of the total amount of profits they are generating. So if they could just spend it on these such projects or startups, or like Omer said, like we are, like Zia Saab is there, so it will create more impact rather
Okay.
than just
Omer, did
a
you want to
cleanup
say
drive
something?
cannot
Did you want?
make an impact.
Okay, sorry. Omer, did you want to add something to this, or?
Yeah, well, there were a couple of things which Dr. Zillay was mentioning, and I just happen to have had a lot of experience on the informal side in a past life. I, in fact, do a lot of consulting work on gathering recyclable materials even now. But I think one of the things that we overlook when we try to do comparisons between, larger order, more well-established economies and ourselves is the set of problems is very different. While we are right now looking at plastics, of course, and there's a lot of conversation about the plastics, the fact remains that 60% of, or in some cases even 70% of the overall municipal waste that's being collected by both these companies, Altas and ISP, and all the other companies in Pakistan is organic. So even if consumers were handling or segregating the waste, the problem is way larger than what we managed to do over here is to address one part of that issue. But let's say 70% of it is still out there. And hopefully, SACEP and UNOPS and World Bank have set the trend, and other organizations will step up to fill that void. Because I believe in good solutions for the long term in Pakistan, but I also very strongly believe that the solutions that will work over here, looking at the conditions over here and what we have to go with and the kind of budgets that are available, I think we'll have to adopt a system which is suitable for the developing world rather than just look up to places like Sweden or Germany, who are the poster childs of this part of the economy. So yeah, of course, companies like Altas and ISP are the ones who can make that change as they grow bigger in Pakistan and they access more places, that they can bring about more customized solutions which are applicable for the local market.
Thank you. Can I ask the next question or does, okay, Zillay, you want to say something? Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So I just want to add one thing that I think the government should just step up with these things that those who want to set up their green businesses, there should be easy loans. It should be interest free or with a very little interest. So people could step up for these businesses. Right now, we don't have such loans. Only private sector they are offering them, like Accelerate Prosperity. So they are offering those impact loans. But I think government should have their own side. Right now, government is doing it for agriculture, for solar powered projects, but not for the waste management projects, unfortunately. So we just want government to see into it that how these interest-free loans could be there for those people, those who wish to, take care of the environment and climate as well.
I think that's a good point. Good point, Zillay. I'll move on to the next question. Is for each one of you. Given your unique experiences working on different parts of the plastic circularity puzzle, where do you see the biggest opportunities for others, entrepreneurs, innovators, or even large companies, to step in and make an impact? Is there enough room for everyone?
I'd like to tackle that one first, if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
I think there's immense space in this field on its own. I'm not just talking about recycling of plastics. I'm talking about recycling, waste management, waste sorting, segregation. There's a whole host of services that go in this entire chain, which sees waste being generated, picked up, cleaned, sorted, and then consumed, recycled, upcycled, or disposed of. There are literally limitless opportunities in Pakistan because for the first time, as Zillay mentioned just now, the government is making efforts to formalize the system. That's why we have companies like ISP and Altas who were not able to offer these services in the past. So those initiatives are being taken. They just need to be accelerated. And hopefully more organized companies can come into this sector. Better individuals with better ideas, just like these guys made eco bricks. I'm sure there's lots of smart entrepreneurs out there. There's a lot of smart engineering talent out there. So it's just like I mentioned before, it's a matter of bringing the right people with the right kind of investors. The opportunities exist throughout this market. It's 200 plus million people. We generate 0.7 kgs per person on a daily basis. That's a lot of waste. It's not running short. Incredible amounts of raw materials out there. It's really up to us to figure out how best to consume them. And there are things to look at places, even with agriculture waste. If you look at Brazil and what they've done with the entire sugarcane stock is unreal. There is absolutely nothing related to sugarcane that goes to waste in Brazil. So that can be a precursor for things that we adopt in Pakistan. We make customized solutions for Pakistan. We've got extremely smart people. We just need some smart money and guidance to make sure that we're able to develop really good solutions in the future.
Ziauddin Saab, would you like to? Okay, Zillay, you go next. Zillay.
Okay, thank you. So I think it's a huge pie, and everybody can have their share from it. It's not only about the collection or the sorting or the processing, it's about innovation. If you have good ideas which could be scaled up. So I am into this startup cultures for almost a decade, and I've seen things growing and falling apart and then rebuilding. So unfortunately, what our startups do, once they fail, they just get so desperate, or they are just so depressed that they don't want to get up. So if you have good mentors, please do seek guidance from them. If you know you can handle next 4-5 years in a better way, please go ahead and invest your time and energy in a product which you see that it could, it could grow lately. So I have seen Omer working in this field for so long. I have seen myself also falling many times and then getting up and then taking the lead. Okay, so next time I'll make sure that I'm not going to do this. But I never stepped back. So this should be the only mindset which could take you forward. Every business has their own pros and cons. Waste business everywhere in the world is similar, right? But you should know how to take things forward. Once you have idea, once it's you know what this could mean to you, the product is rightly there, and then make collaborations, start growing, start thinking a way you want your company to be. If you're going to think big, one day you will be there where you see yourself, when you started the company. But if you think that today I only have a table and a chair and I don't have any team structure, start building up your team. Talk to those people, those who have a similar mindset. So you'll gather your team, and that team is the first success you need to grow after having an idea. That's it from my side.
That's very heartening, Zillay. Ziauddin Saab, you next.
Thank you. What we understand, there is a big gap in the waste management sector. In the developed countries, they have developed diversion from the landfill. And as of today, in our part of the world, we are only landfilling. And we understand that there is a lot of room for young people to come in. And like Umar said, you need a smart funding. I think a little bit of funding would also do the work. Like Zilla said, green loans and everything. Well, there are so small examples that if the government can contract out, or government can find some external partners for the vegetable and fruit market. All the fruit and vegetable which are collected from the vegetable and fruit market will go to a particular vendor which government has contracted or given the authority, and their work is only to recycle, and it can be recycled into compost or anything which is feasible. Like they can contract out for the fish market only. From the fish market, you can get good the things, you can recycle it. Same is the case with biogas. From the buffalo market, from the dairy market, you can do it. So there are a lot of examples. You don't need to have a big company doing all the work. You can customize it, and you can do it on a smaller scale also. There, and we understand that there is a lot of opportunity, because this is a sector which is already untapped in our part of the world. And actually you can just start anyway from recycling, because all the informal sector are there. A company with a thought process or an idea can every time introduce. I think this is the easiest. I might be in this business. This is the reason I am saying it. But apart from all other businesses, we understand this is our part of the world where things are not that much regulated, or not. If the regulation is also there, it is not implemented. So there is a lot of informal sector which are doing it. We just need to a company coming in, having a good set skills or resources, can always from shift it from the informal sector to the formal sector. They need to register it. They need to make waste banks in particular areas, and there is a lot of thing we understand we can do in our sector of waste management. And people have rightly said that the waste nowadays is gold. We don't need to go for waste to energy plants or things like that. We just need diversion on a small scale. Like whatever construction demolition waste is coming, we need to have a small crusher. in a particular area where construction is more happening, we only need to put a construction demolition plant and we can process it, and all that C&D waste can go to the road, subways, highways, or new construction, whichever is going on. So we don't need a big set of policies from the government. Small pieces can also do the work. As far as we are diverting whatever is from the landfill, it is good for the society, for the companies also, and they can earn their share of profit from that.
Thank you, Ziauddin Saab. It seems that all three of you feel that this is a good, business to do. I think it requires a lot of sweat, a lot of hard work, but it is, and for any business, basically, it is a greasy pole to success. So you have to persevere. I'll take some questions from the participants. And any one of you can maybe start this, give me an answer for this. The first question is, how many formal and informal recyclers are there in Pakistan?
Actually, it is not documented or something like that. Omer would second it. To be honest and to be open, many 70 to 80% of the drug addicts get their source of funding from this informal sector, what we understand. So because there are small informal banks are made, garbage banks are made, and recyclables they extract from the bins or the open heaps in the areas, and they go and sell it to very near at a very low cost. And those recyclers or waste busters, you can say, those again segregated, then they sell it to the bigger recyclers, then they sell it to the factories. So there is a whole chain. We could actually, informal means it is not documented. So we can resemble it. I think so. In the formal sector, there must be very less, because there in the formal sector where the people are required is the material recovery facilities and the manual sorting systems where the people are required. And I don't think so there are much in province of Sindh, but two of these we have developed, one in district south of Karachi and one in Hyderabad, and people are doing a little bit. So other than that, we understand is informal sector. But now there is a shift in the government also, that they are now watching that the drug addicts in the areas and in the localities are creating a menace also. And they are thinking that if it has waste has value, then why not shift the contractors or the companies are being outsourced to force them to do something new. So with the passage of time, we understand that informal sector will reduce and the formal sector will increase in case the regulations are rightly implemented.
Okay. Omer?
Okay.
Yeah,
Shall I
similarly,
share?
I think I was reading the questions previously as well, and he's right. There's no way of ascertaining how many people are in this business. I can tell you there's an incredibly large amount of money in it, but even that money can't really be calculated because nobody actually has that data. It doesn't come on any data sheets that we have, so there's no way of ascertaining that. And even figuring out what percentage of the waste is recycled. I gave you an example, 0.7 kg is rule of thumb, the production per capita in Pakistan. So we also have trouble figuring out what the exact population is, right? So you'd say that you're going between 140 to 200,000 tons per day in the whole country. It can be any one of those numbers. It could be on the lower side or on the higher side. So there's no exact numbers. And to figure out how much is being recycled, the problem is, I think Zillay or Mr. Zia, one of them did actually mention this, that the thing is that you don't really find out what percentage has been removed because even within the recycling sector, you have the larger companies that take care of 2 or 3 of the raw materials that are extracted. Everything else is going to the cottage industry. So it's very difficult to keep track of that. There's no evidence in terms of the financial movement of funds. And I think this effort by the government might be late, but it's good that they're at least doing something about it. Maybe 3 to 5 years, we'll have a more formal sector with more formal players with licenses and who will collect things in a more organized manner rather than creating bigger problems for Dr. Zillay and Mr. Zia's teams who are trying to collect waste in the city and searching for those little recyclables what is creating or adding to the problem of litter on the roads in Pakistan. So these things are linked. Unfortunately, when you ask questions related to data, there's nobody who can give you a concrete answer because that data doesn't really exist in Pakistan as of now.
So again, then the second question. Yeah, Zillay. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I do agree with what Zia Saab and Omer Saab has just shared, that here we don't have authentic data, which is provided that how much recyclers are there. So Punjab government has started another initiative in which they are registering those recyclers. So they have exact data how many recyclers are there in Punjab, right? But unfortunately, after giving so many calls to the recyclers, they still have a very few number registered, number one. Number two, it's already seen that almost 2 to 3% is recycled. If we talk about a recycling side, and this is this UNEP estimated it. And then there's another estimation that almost 20 to 30% of plastic waste is recycled. But then again, as just Umar shared, that we don't have the authentic data. So authentication means that every industry, which is recycling, its formal, informal sector, they have a total number which is recycled, because the amount of plastic, there's another question, that amount of plastic which we import is so and so, but the quantity of the recycling of plastic is way larger than that. It's just my thought that the amount of plastic or the quantum of plastic is higher because we already have that informal sector which is already collecting it many times, recycling it, and we don't have the data of that entire thing, right? We do have data that how much is imported. We don't have the data how much is processed, which is through the informal sector and then again through the formal sector as well. So formal sector might have the exact numbers that how much they have recycled, but we cannot calculate on this number on the informal sector.
Omer, do you wanted to say?
Yeah. Basically, one thing that I wanted to add to your point was that, and I don't think we mentioned this so far, is the tax regime. We don't have a tax regime that deals with a recyclable waste, right? They tend to group it with everything else. And it's very difficult to figure out the price at which you bought. It changes with every supplier. Somebody might be selling you the same product at 50 rupees a kg, and another guy with 10x of that same material will ask for 100 rupees per kg. And the tax system doesn't allow for that kind of discrepancy. Plus, excise duty and then sales tax, etc. When you add all of that I can guarantee you is the primary reason why the recyclers are not registering at all and they're not interested. Because if they come into the system, the existing tax system that prevails will not allow them to make anything even remotely close to what they're making right now. So their idea is try to stick it out as long as possible and come into the system when it's heaped upon them. It might be too late for them by then, but these are realities which the government needs to deal with. You need to have a specific tax regime for value-added materials, which are being, so there's a cost of extracting those materials, sorting them, cleaning them, and 2 or 3 other processes before they get sent to recyclers. This has a cost associated with it. Companies have a large infrastructure cost. It would serve the government well to actually come up with a tax system that allows companies to build themselves the infrastructure required in the first 5 years, give a tax holiday like they did to a whole bunch of other industries, including the IT sector, which was abused left, right, and center. But if they did it over here, it would actually open the door for a lot of more an easier formalization of the market, as well as new entrants coming in with not only concepts, but funding, which is necessary to set up the infrastructure for waste management. That's it.
Thanks. The third question is also about data, and I'll just read it out, and you figure out how you want to answer it and who wants to answer it. It says there are many numbers of waste circulating between 3.9 million tons to 0.6 million tons, when the total consumption of Pakistan is between 2.1 million and 2.4 million tons per annum. What do you think is the actual number in your experience?
I just mentioned that if you're looking at a population of 200 million with per capita generation of 0.7 kgs,
0.6.
You're looking at 140,000 kgs collected, 140,000 tons collected per day, or not collected, generated per day. So the over 140,000 into 365 is too big a number portion of it. That will not exceed, on average, it will not exceed more than 10% in Pakistan. So let's say 14,000 tons per day of recyclable materials.
Thanks. So I think there is still time, and I am very interested in asking a few more questions, if I may. It seems that the problem with all of you is funding. And I know Zillay mentioned that the government should have some kind of funding and encouraging some kind of funding system so that everyone can make use of that for scalability. But do you find the current funding supportive of circular economy for startups? But it doesn't have to be government. It can be the private sector as well. Yes, Omer.
I actually put the emphasis on the private sector. Government should provide support, better tax, better policies. Our government is not in a position to provide funding right now, and they probably have bigger issues to deal with. The private sector needs to recognize the opportunity that exists out there. They need to break free from the taboo of being associated with waste in Pakistan. And I'll tell you, that's the number one reason why people don't want to enter this. 90% of people refuse to believe me when I tell them that I'm involved in waste management. They just absolutely outright refuse. They think they're like, no, you must be a banker or something like that. They don't expect that to happen. And that's why that association restricts a lot of people and a lot of entities to look at waste management seriously. I have always received chuckles from investors whenever I've mentioned anything related to waste. And it doesn't matter what kind of return I show them or what kind of promise there is, 3 years after the setup, or the fact that this is infrastructure investment that will give you returns for a very long period. It doesn't really matter to them. It's because as soon as you mention waste, kachara,
It's dirty business, huh?
They think it's dirty business and want to get their hands dirty in it. So while it creates a lack of people willing to explore the market, it also creates more opportunities for those who are actually going to take that risk. You have 3 people over here. There were a whole bunch more at the SACEP event that we visited. So there's a lot of promise. I think, especially with regards to what, as a group, people from Maldives and Sri Lanka and Nepal, it was fantastic meeting everybody and the great ideas everyone had. I think creating something across the South Asian countries where people collaborate beyond being part of an event or a program, I think that would really help as well. It would open the eyes of people, not only in Pakistan, but also in the region. And I think we'd have better luck trying to get partners and getting people who will understand and believe in what we're talking about from this, little sector that we have going, especially in the group that SACEP and the World Bank managed to put together in Sri Lanka. And it might even give us an excuse to go back to that beautiful place. So, I think
Who
more of
knows?
these are
Yes.
definitely required.
Yes, of course. Zillay, do you agree with, do you
Yeah.
concur with Omer that it's like, waste has a kind of a business that is looked down upon? It can generate a lot of money. It
So
can
I would
generate
like
good.
to absolutely. So I would like to share my story when I started this, when I joined a waste management company. One of the people, those who just interacted with me, they said, "Oh, कचरे का काम करियो, like this is so bad, like इतना पढ़ने के बाद ये वाला काम क्यों?" So and now they just come up and ask that, okay, so how can we become part of this business, right? So, and it took me almost 18 years to make them realize that what you think is kachra is actually not a kachra. So, it's the impact
Is
you're
actually
creating.
gold.
That if only for one day a waste picker do not pick up your waste, you'll the people living in that home, they're going to call you up so many times that kindly remove the waste. So this is the importance of waste in your life. You should realize that how you produce it and what value is it, it has, and what sort of impact it is creating on the climate, on the environmental side, and all these stuff. But then secondly, I think it's all about the mindset. If you're clear in your head that this is what you have to do, and you are taking things forward just because you take care of the environment you're living in and for the generations to come, then nobody can stop you. Like Omer said, that he started it up with a waste business, right? And he's still doing it. A part of it is still there, which exists. And I think this is the best part. If you're growing, you know what the problem is, you know what the opportunities are. The business is business, and it has impact on environment, on climate, on carbon footprint, on GHG emissions, on everything. You talk a lot of these things, but you just hesitate to do the business which create all these problems. You just hesitate, right? So this is the first thing. And the second is that once you know what the dynamics are, you start enjoying your business, whatever it is, right? And the waste business is so that once you know how to deal with it, how to take care of it, you enjoy all these challenges which are just thrown. And there are so many challenges that I think if we start listing them, then you'll say, oh God, so we don't know how you people are doing it. So we don't want to put all those startups or all those companies down, those who think that it's difficult and they're not, just taking up the step. Please do go ahead and challenge yourself as well. That yes, this is the problem, there's a gap, there's a huge gap, and we are going to fill it up. So
And one thing, you're new at this.
One thing more,
Okay.
I just want to add up in Omer's discussion, what he already shared about the taxes. So we pay the tax as much as others are paying. So it's twice. We buy the product, we pay the tax. We recycle the product, and then we again pay the tax. And we never understand how this is going to stop. So I just want to ask government if they are going to support us, do support us for this. Thank you.
Point well taken.
And keeping in view the question,
yes.
keeping in view your question, basically there a concept in all over the world now has been implemented, and one move forward, the extended producer responsibility. Now the private sector has to come in, whether it being at the economics or the optics. Economics wise, it is also good for them to come in, as I have heard all the sugarcane industry now using their bagasse as the fuel for them. Now all Tetra Pak has waste busters and waste collectors all over the network, and they are collecting. Same is the case with plastic industry. They are recycling, and whether or not they are using virgin plastic in their main product or not, they are using it, or somehow they are the if you talk about the HDP caps, HDP products, so is somehow or the other keeping in view both the perspective economically as well as optics wise, or the keeping in view the society, they have to the environment, they have to come in and they have to give their amount of responsibility. And I think this has started. Now what as waste management companies need connection between the manufacturer who are again recycling the waste or somehow doing it. So I think we are on the right track, and things need to speed up or beef up. The pace is slow, you can say, in our part of the world. How the other part of the world they have increased, but somehow over here it is a slow process. But I think people are understanding, and a lot of work is being carried out in this sector again.
Thank you, Zasab. I don't know how much time you have. I've taken a lot of your time, I know, but I have just one. So let's just have one question, and for all of you to answer that before I end. Is this kind of work best suited for startups, or do you think big industry players need to lead the charge? Yes, Omer.
It's going to depend on who's answering that question. I think it's definitely an ideal breeding ground for startups. I think it forces you to be creative. It forces you to adapt to changes very quickly. And, historically speaking, large companies, even if we became large today, we'd find it very difficult to change, our direction. But as a startup, you're more nimble and just able to do that. So it's not that they should or we should. It's just a matter of we're able to do things a little quicker or make our changes a little quicker, adapt to, environmental conditions a little quicker than a large company would, because of the fact that they have systems in place which can't be changed abruptly. So that's where startups can actually beat the larger players in coming up with quicker, more creative solutions. And honestly speaking, in a market like this where you don't have much else going for you, you better be very, very creative. And I'm not sure what the word for it is, but in Urdu, we call it dheet. So you need to be extremely creative and extremely dheet, stubborn maybe, but stubborn doesn't quite capture the essence of dheet. So yeah, it's just you need to just let things roll off your back. If things get to you, if you get bogged down quickly with failures, this is not startup world isn't for you, number one, and definitely waste management isn't for you. But if you're willing to tough it out, sweat a lot, cry a lot, and then come up with something which will be profitable, yes, but also more fulfilling than any loan facility you can process at a bank, I guarantee you, hands down. I'm speaking from first-hand experience of being a banker in a former life. I haven't missed that for a day, even when I'm standing in like a foot deep of cow dung. It's all right. I can live with that. I'd rather do that than, and see the change over there. If I can fix that problem, the fulfillment you achieve from something like that is incredible. At least for people like us, obviously, all three of us over here, we wouldn't be in this business if it wasn't. We definitely didn't get into it for the money. I'll tell you that. Investing 10 years of your life trying to create a change in the system for very little in terms of financial reward, or not existent at all in certain cases. It has to be more than that. It has to be, you have to be passionate about it. Even though it's
Zasab?
municipal waste.
Zasab, would you agree with Omer? Yeah. Would you agree with Omer? And what do you have to add to his
So,
comment?
true, majority wise, we three are in the same business, and likewise, we have same thoughts about the business we are in. And we assume that there are a lot of opportunities also. Just we need to channelize it. We need to change the mindset of the society, and keeping in view, people are understanding that in just not talk about plastic waste. In case any waste, in case in nearby shores or nearby island which are near Karachi, they have a lot of pollution. So now the government is also working for the diversion, and we are hopeful that in case a 360-degree turn is taken in terms of government sector, public sector, also private sector, and the consumer also, so we can make a change.
Thank you. Zillay, one last comment from you before I close this webinar.
I think I do totally agree with what Omer has just shared, that startup has a more flexibility to turn around things they wish to pivot their models, and to have that vision that, okay, so one thing is not working, we can pivot a little, and then, we can move ahead and with another one. But they should be very, very heat. So heat is the best word, I think. I think they should be very passionate what they do. So waste management is just not like a thing that if it's not done, then you can't do it, right? So you have to fall again and again and get up again and again and keep on doing it, keep on knocking the doors till the time you think now this is the best time, right? So if I talk about the years when I jumped into this business, it's totally different scenario. In those days, people couldn't see what could be done with the waste they are producing. But now everybody, they know what their solutions could be proposed. And now the students, they are jumping in. They're trying to set up their, a startup, and they're just trying to give new and new solutions to this waste field and waste management world, that how it could be done. And they're just proud of it. But when I used to talk about it, nobody realized that this is going to be another decade which will be required to set up the entire thing. So it's difficult for a startup to be to have their feet on ground and then ready to fly, but it's on the same time they have a room to get the things changed. So it's all there for them to explore the world and get things done.
Thank you. Now that brings us to the end of today's session. Very reluctantly, I have to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to all of you. Thank you all for being part of this important conversation. Thank you for my participants also, who I can't see, but I'm sure they're enjoying this. Thank you for sharing your expertise, my friends, and inspiring us with your innovative solutions. We hope you all found this discussion inspiring and valuable. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to continuing such conversation again at another time, another place. Khuda Hafiz, and thank you.